Brakati Yahweh, Brakati Yahushai, Brakati Yahweh, Brakati Yahushai, Brakati Yahweh, Brakati Yahweh, Ba'Hashem Yahushai, Ba'Hashem Rachach Kodash, the belongs to the apostles, the elders of Great Millstone, true well. Salutations to the hopeful elect out there, you Akim to Sadakim that do this thing in the utmost truth and sincerity. On the pre-Shaman, this week's topic is going to be entitled Steve Smith Sr. will pay for committing adultery. Okay, Steve Smith Sr. will pay for committing adultery. And Steve Smith Sr. is a former football player. He played for North Carolina, the Carolina Panthers, for maybe 14 years or more. And then I know he had a stint with the Baltimore Ravens for a couple of years. And he committed adultery with the woman is the march band leader for when the Ravens play at home. And, you know, people are wondering, when did this happen? Did this happen, you know, while he was with the Ravens? Did it happen when he was off after his retirement, when he was working with NFL Network? But anyways, her husband called Steve Smith Sr. and said, yo, you've been fucking my wife and all this type of shit. And first of all, he was kind of like, hey bro, like, are you gonna call a nigga bro and all that shit that's been banging your woman? But anyways, he said, what you gotta say for yourself? Steve Smith was like, I'm sorry. Well, nigga, if you were sorry, you wouldn't have done it. But he released all the text messages and everything. And she was saying some wild shit. I'm sure she also says sorry. But again, if you were sorry, you would have never done that. But the point is this, you know, adultery is one of those sins that's worthy of death. Because not every sin in the Bible is worthy of death. You know? Adultery is one of those sins that's punishable by death. This is the book of Exodus chapter 20 verse 14. It says, thou shalt not commit adultery. Right. Which adultery is sleeping with another man's wife. Adultery is not you necessarily dealing with multiple women. Okay. Because a man can have multiple wives. Adultery is dealing with another man's woman. Whether that man is having sex with that woman or that woman's betrothed to that man or whatever. You know, if she's arranged to be with a particular man, you ain't supposed to deal with her. This is the book of Leviticus 20 and 10. It says, and the man that committed adultery with another man's wife, even he that committed adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death. So both those people that commit the act of adultery should be put to death, both the man and the woman. And now what this guy was doing was, he's trying to shed as much light on it as possible. He wanted to go viral because Steve Smith, he pretty much got his own family. So he was like, well, fuck it. If you're going to destroy my family, I'm going to destroy yours. Because the guy that Steve Smith, the husband of the wife that committed adultery, his name was Victor Martinez, which I believe he was a former player himself for the Broncos. But yeah, he was putting the whole shit out on blast because Steve Smith himself have a family. So he was like, well, if you're going to be banging my wife and I'm going to divorce her, well, fuck it. You're going to get your shit divorced too. So he's putting that shit out there as much as he can. Talking about some very explicit texts. Bitch talking about you rearranging my IUD, all type of shit. And these nasty assholes can't be trusted, bro. And apparently this nigga saying he bought her a house. He did all this thing for her. She still went out there and committed adultery. So they gonna pay for that, man. You know, that's a wicked sin in Israel, you know. And it's one thing if a bitch lie to you. Okay, the scriptures speak about ignorance, you know what I'm saying? You sincerely not trying to do no shit like that and something like that happened. Okay. But this nigga knew what was up. Steve Smith knew this woman was a married woman. And you know how these wicked niggas operate? These wicked ass niggas, they'll try to look for women that's in relationship if they're so-called in a relationship themselves, because their logic is, well, if I'm married and she's married, she surely won't tell. You see what I'm saying? Because she's afraid what's going to happen to her. So that's the whole mindset behind that wicked ass narrative. Like, in other words, if I go down, we both go down, and she got a lot to lose, I got a lot to lose, so I'm going to deal with a married woman because there's a less chance of it going to blow up in my scene, I guess. I don't know if that's what Steve Smith was thinking, but I know that's how these wicked niggas think. Because this wicked ass nigga years ago told me that. He said that's why I like when they have a man, so they don't tell my girl or some shit like that. I was like, man, these niggas need death, man. And the Most High is going to punish them for that shit, man. Proverbs 6:32 reads, But whoso committed adultery with a man, whoso committed adultery with a woman lacketh understanding. Right? So you lack great understanding, man. All right? If you're going to deal with another man's woman. You know, the priest Karab made a very good point. And it's like, you know, he asked, he was speaking on 34th, he said, yo, would you want to share a man's boxes? He's like, ew, hell no. And why the hell would you want to share his woman? And it's true. Because that same nasty shit you do with her, she even does more nastier shit with her man. Okay? And I don't even want to get into the vileness of it, but that shit is vile. You're not supposed to be doing that. She's just defiled. You know? And the nigga was busting all up in her and shit. You see? Because that's what the text message is revealed. It says, but whoso committeth adultery with a woman lack understanding, he that doeth it destroyeth his own soul. Right? So that's what leads you to destruction. Now, many of us have committed adultery in the world, whether ignorantly or knowingly or what have you. But Yahweh Shah's blood has given us an opportunity to have mercy. All right? And when you come into truth, you become a new creature. You got to put that shit behind you, man. You should not be out here doing no shit like that, man, at all. You see? I mean, we're in a society where you could just go pay for some box to get your shit off. And Steve Smith Sr., that nigga, he has access to all types of women. Guess what he's going to choose? A woman that's belonged to another man. See what I'm saying? So that dude done tarnished his entire name because he had like a good rep, you know. Steve Smith, he was known, like, he was a Hall of Fame guy. He was known for his tenacity on the football field, and he was seen like as a stand-up dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a stand-up guy. He's a, you know. Now this shit done ruined his entire name because that's gonna smear everything. Now that nigga, all that shit that you did in the league, and that's why the scriptures speak about a good name. Nobody's gonna really be talking about that shit because you're gonna be remembered as a guy that committed adultery. And these wicked ass niggas, Shannon Sharp and Ocho Cinco, Shadows Ocinco, they were speaking on it. It was like, why are you going to Steve Smith? You should be going to your wife, which I'm sure he did, nigga, but he also gotta address Steve Smith. What you mean? He's like, that's your wife. Your wife is choosing him. Steve Smith is not, nigga, Steve Smith is choosing that. Steve Smith could have rejected that, nigga. You see what I'm saying? So they're both worthy of severe punishment, but that's these niggas showing favoritism to Steve Smith because they, you know, they're also football players and shit. But that's wicked. This world is wicked, bro. You know? Oh, don't get at Steve. You got to get at your wife. Your wife is the one. But who reached out? We don't know who reached out and shit. You know? And Steve could have always said, "Look, man, I ain't doing that. I ain't gonna." You know? Because think about this. You married yourself. You got a wife and kids. So imagine somebody doing that. You wouldn't want somebody doing that to you. Why the fuck would you do it to somebody else? You see? Sending all types of crazy selfies and messages and shit like that. Matthew 5:27 says, ye have heard that this is Yahweh Shah speaking, that it was said by them of old times, thou shalt not commit adultery. Right, that's in the law. Yahweh Shah was talking about. We just read it. Don't commit adultery. Hey, man, think about Joseph, man. Joseph ran before he dealt with his master, before, you know, his master's wife was coming at him. But he's like, he's not going to do that wicked shit, which proves that the laws have always been around. Because this event took place before Moses put the laws on stone. And he ran away. He didn't want to pop this bitch, man, because she was a married woman. You see? It says, ye have heard that it was said by them of old times, thou shalt not commit adultery. Right? But I say unto you that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her hath committed adultery with her already in his heart. Right? So if you're looking at another man's woman and you thinking all types of evil things, Yahweh Shah is pretty much saying, look, man, you pretty much setting yourself up to commit adultery. All right? Now, technically speaking, you know, you didn't commit adultery because you didn't lay with that woman. But, you know, he's saying, look, the thought alone, you shouldn't be having that, you know, which is true. You shouldn't even be thinking that. And this is how come men and women should be separate. We tell these stupid fucking other camps all the time, man. Stop mixing men and women together. That's what it's going to lead to. at some point or another, and it did happen in the IUIC. You had this nigga sending dick pics to another dude's woman, and they all in the camp and shit. That's what that shit leads to, man. When men and women start to come together, mingle together, see each other frequently, that's the type of stuff it's gonna lead to, man. This is how come in the scriptures and in the ancient world, in certain parts of the world today, you separate men and women, bro. Separate them. Okay? Because the hormones, the biology, and all that type of shit. You see, they gonna choose. This is what's gonna happen, bro. It says, to the lust after, and you know what's gonna happen too, like you start bringing women around the camp, people are gonna start showing up to the camp for other purposes than the truth. They're gonna be going there for the woman, bro. That's how it goes. It says that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her hath committed adultery with her already in his heart and his mind. That's what it's talking about. And if thy right eye offend thee, pluck it out. Please don't pluck out your actual right eye like this nigga Marcus Houston. Okay, this is talking about a member of the body. Okay, like the Passover is coming up. You know, everybody's a member. Everybody in the camp is like a, you know, we build up a body part. We represent a body part. So there's a particular individual that is, you know, doing contrary things towards his truth consistently, and that's his nature, then you got to remove that. The scriptures tell you a little leaven the whole lump. It says, pluck it out and cast it from thee, for it is profitable for thee that one of thy members should perish, and not that thy whole body should be cast into hell. Right. So pretty much what I was just saying through the spirit, like, you know, it's better to just get rid of that one member than to have the whole members of the congregation be fucked up. And you see that happen too. Like, you have these lingering ass wicked niggas, they'll be out in some camp somewhere teaching some false doctrine in secret, and guess what, when they leave, they took 3-4 other guys with them, which, okay, fuck it, they was never a part of it. But it shows you that when they lingered around, if you'd have cut them off from the beginning, those other couple of guys would have probably stayed around. But that infestation, I'll give you an example, like the flat earth, that shit took a whole section of camp out, I believe, something like that. You know, it took a bunch of guys out, see? But it only took one dude to start that wicked evil thought. It says, and if thy right hand offend thee, cut it off and cast it from thee, for it is profitable for thee that one of thy members should perish, and not that thy whole body should be cast into hell. It have been said, whosoever shall put away his wife, let him give her a writing divorcement, right? So you're supposed to give her a bill of divorce if you put a woman away. That's what it says in the law, right? But I say unto you that whosoever shall put away his wife, saving for the cause of fornication, meaning if you just got rid of your wife for anything but adultery, it says, causes her to commit adultery, and who what exactly, which is true. Which is true, because if you put your wife away, wow, that's a spirit. 44401, that's a spirit. It's a license plate in front of me. But if you put your wife away, that's why, you know, you shouldn't just be deading bitches for no reason, really. This whole hookup culture in itself is wicked. We're not supposed to be doing that. But if you're putting away your woman for no reason, you know, you're gonna put her out there to commit adultery, which we all committed adultery. Because unless you got a virgin, the woman that dealt with another man, that man is most likely still alive. You see, so this is a wickedness and adulterous generation. Most of us don't have virgins. If we have virgins, we probably had them at one point, and then guess what? They were gone. It says his wife, saving for the cause of fornication, causing her to commit adultery, and whoever shall marry her that is divorced committed adultery. So we all committed adultery. You know what I'm saying? Not to the extent of on some Steve Smith shit, but the point being is, this is, hey man, this is why we need grace. This is why we need Yahushua to come back. You see? Because this is a wicked and adulterous generation that we living in. Now, let me see if I can find this scripture right here. Because I'm sure this bitch, she haven't responded. Steve Smith haven't responded. But this is the book of Proverbs, chapter 30, verse 20. It says, such is the way of an adulterous woman. She eateth and wipeth her mouth, and saith, I have done no wickedness. Right. Because when one of the text messages said, pretty much she was saying I'm about to be R-rated, but pretty much she was saying she was about to top him off and shit, but she had to be home. And that's these women. They eat them. She eateth. What's she eating? She eating a bunch of kids, man. She's swallowing, drinking, all that, wiping her mouth, brushing her teeth. And say have done no wickedness. Right. Go right back, brush her teeth, kiss her husband in the mouth. This is the sick shit that goes on in this world. You see? And that's why the missiles have to come to just get all that shit away, man. Get all that filth and madness out of here, man. You know? So, Steve Smith will be judged for that. Adultery goes on rampant in this world. These niggas rap about it, glorify it. They're going to be judged for that. And the ones of us that did commit that wicked act out of ignorance, okay, you know, the Most High shall have mercy. If you, again, if you repent of that and don't do nothing like that, don't even do anything close to that, don't mingle with no man, just avoid all that, bro. See, don't do shit with no man's woman, bro. Throughout the years of my time in the truth, that's what even happened here in Great Millstone in different parts of the states. You know? Well, I just wanted to see if the sister was okay. Nigga, what? Of course it leads to badness. See? So, we shouldn't be doing that. That's how come we tell you sisters on the comment boards, if you have a man, really stop commenting and doing all that shit. You know what I'm saying? You're just, you know? Let's try to be on point with all that. Alright, so, well, I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashim Rachak Wadash. That belongs to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone True Well. Salutations to the hopeful elect out there. You Akim to Sadakim that did this thing in the utmost truth and sincerity. Shalom.